They had the highest payroll in the NBA, a list of superstars, and they didn't make the playoffs. So today the team fires its head coach. Mike Budenholzer is out. The team announced the firing this morning.
12 Sports' Cameron Cox joins us now with more. And Cam, did you see this coming?
Oh, yeah, guys, without a shock. Like, this is not a shock to, I think, anyone around the Suns or fans here in the Valley. I want to make this clear, though. This season was not all Coach Bud's fault. The Suns need better players. They built the wrong team around Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, but they also need a much better leader and coach at the top, which is why Mike Budenholzer is one and done. Back-to-back years, the Suns firing a head coach after just one season. So why did this happen? Well, this team was not competitive whatsoever. Awful on defense, no joy. Coach Bud's relationships with his players wasn't good, and I've been told by multiple sources that Coach Bud was miserable to deal with behind the scenes. Suns thought they had a much better team this year than last year, but ended up being way worse and missing the playoffs for the first time since 2020. This will be Devin Booker's 8th head coach in 11 years. Here is the statement from the Suns: competing at the highest level remains our goal, and we failed to meet expectations this season. Our fans deserve better, and change is needed. No kidding. The coach we saw at his intro press conference, all the joy, right, the hug for Al McCoy, the tears, was not the same coach we saw the rest of the season. Coach Bud grew up in Holbrook, Arizona. His dad was an Arizona high school coaching legend. This was supposed to be the dream job, coaching the team he grew up rooting for. Instead, it was just a dream payday. The Suns are now on their 4th different head coach in 4 years. What's next? They will look for likely a younger coach and will build this team around Devin Booker, guys. But it is crazy to think about all the coaches that have come through here, all the coaches that have come through in Book's year, but flat out, it did not work with Coach Bud being the leader in the face of the Suns.
You can't fail like this and keep your job.
Yeah, guys. Right? The most expensive failure in NBA history. I mean, this team, when you look at the guys on paper and what this team should have done, there's no way you finish 11th in the West and, like, heads aren't going to roll. If you're just joining us, Coach Bud, of course, out with the Suns, one and done. Expect more changes to be coming. Guys, I want to show you this. Like, how crazy is this? Next year, the Suns will be on their 4th different head coach in 4 years. They're going to have 3 coaches on the pay books next year. Mike Budenholzer has 4 years at $40 million left on his contract. They're still paying Frank Vogel. They're going to pay the next coach. By the way, the Suns stopped paying Monty Williams after he got the job in Detroit. Monty was fired after just one season out there with the Pistons. Guys, what it boiled down to with the Suns is they just weren't competitive at all. They didn't have the right attitude. They didn't have the right joy. I think a lot of that falls on leadership and Coach Bud. He just didn't set what I thought was a good leader for this team. Yes, they need better players, and I think they built the wrong roster around KD and Book, but they got the wrong head coach. We thought Mike Budenholzer was going to be like Kenny Dillingham, coming back home. This was where he grew up. This was the team he rooted for. His dad was a beloved member of the Arizona High School Basketball Coaches Association, all the above, and it just didn't work out for a bunch of reasons.
And Bradley Beal was a big flame out too. I mean,
Bradley,
that guy was like all world when he was, what was he with the Wizards?
Wizards, yeah.
He was all world. He gets here and he can't even play.
He can't stay healthy. KD at the top of the roster just hasn't worked. Not enough good players around them. So it was a combo of things, but they definitely needed a new leader. As for what's next, we asked Brendon Kleen of Locked On Suns.
I don't see a lot changing until Matt Ishbia is able to, I don't know if you want to say humble himself or just find somebody that he trusts to empower to kind of take control away from him a little bit. That's a growing pain that we know owners go through in sports, but I just don't see how a Suns fan right now could look at anything going on and have a lot of faith that this coaching search, the next candidate that they choose, or a lot of the roster moves that we know this team has to make. Well, we've been saying that every summer, and they've airballed it each summer. So I think until that happens, where Ishbia is able to empower somebody who knows what they're doing and has that vision to come in and control it top to bottom, I think it's going to be a lot of whack-a-mole once again here.
I think generally we probably all knew this was going to happen.
Yeah,
doesn't mean it's fair, though. But when the players don't play for the coach, it's easier to fire the coach.
Yeah, Mark, I'll say this. They need better players, but Coach Bud, in my eyes, was a 0 for the Suns this year. As we told you at the top of the show, Mike Budenholzer fired, one and done. Back-to-back years, the Suns now firing a coach after just one season. Next year will be their 4th different head coach in 4 years. Bottom line, Suns were just awful this year. They finished 11th in the West, missing the playoffs despite the highest payroll in the NBA. In the statement, the Suns said, change is needed. Yes, and fans deserve better. Plenty of fans sounding off on social media. This from Jay saying, Suns need to start by resetting the culture and identifying the root cause for going from a finals run to where they are now. Tony saying the Suns need to relieve James Jones of his duties as general manager. Could be coming, who knows? Our pal Dave Burns saying the issues go beyond Budenholzer. He is not a scapegoat, but no joy this season, and some of that falls on Coach Bud's shoulders. This guy saying, bro, any coach in the world would have had the same outcome with this roster. Y'all need someone else to blame besides Matt Ishbia, who's the owner. He's got plenty of blame too as well. And how about this one from Alex Rivera? It sums it up perfectly. It wasn't Budenholzer's dream job. It was his dream payday. That's the difference. This was supposed to be Coach Bud's dream job, right? Instead, it was just that dream payday. Remember all the joy from his intro press conference, hugging the late, great Al McCoy in tears? The Holbrook native, his dad was an Arizona high school coaching legend, right? Coming back home to coach the team he grew up rooting for. Instead, Coach Bud did not build relationships with his players. He was miserable to deal with behind the scenes, never helped promote the basketball team. Did you watch one of his post-game press conferences? Win, lose, it didn't matter. Watching paint dry was more exciting. Basketball-wise, they built the wrong team around Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. They were soft, no depth, no toughness. Now, that's not all Coach Bud's fault, but attitude reflects leadership. Coach Bud made the mistake I see far too often in this business. People forget why we all have jobs. They forget working in sports, especially being a head coach of an NBA team in our valley, is a get-to, not a got-to job. The Suns have some work to do rallying the fan base once again. They got to win back fans, bring back the joy. Representing our community is a dream job, so stop treating it like a dream payday. Those are my comments. Let me hear yours on social media at CamCox12. Welcome to the Suns funeral. Cameron Cox, Lena Washington, Jake Garcia, all on your screen. Lena, we'll start with you. What do you think of when you think of this season, and what's next?
A monumental disappointment, the arguably biggest financial disappointment in NBA history and franchise history for this Suns team that invested to get this team not just to the NBA Finals, but to bring the city its first NBA championship. And they have just gotten further and further and further with each year since making that run to the 2021 Finals. Devin Booker and James Jones are really the only two constants from that squad. And ultimately, the failures of this team fall on the front office. The players did all they could. I feel for Kevin Durant and everything that he's been through in his time here in Phoenix. We've likely seen him in purple and orange, I should say, for the final time. But disappointment and frustration, really, with just the lack of enthusiasm, care, seemingly, from Mike Budenholzer coming back to coach the team that he watched growing up as a Holbrook native here in Arizona. And then the honeymoon was quickly over, losing streaks that were just inexcusable. But I think fans are going to be sitting with this feeling for a couple weeks and months until training camp starts, Jake.
Yeah, my lasting memory from this is pretty much what you said there at the end. It's the agonizingly painful, boring, moping attitude post-game from Mike Budenholzer. Yeah. The best leaders across any industry, they get people to follow you. They inspire you to be better than you are. Mike Budenholzer did not do that for this team. And in fact, this team down the stretch of the season adopted his entire demeanor that we saw during the toughest times this season. They became weighed down by it. And I don't know, the facial expressions and the lack of pizzazz and energy just really grinded my gears as the season wore on.
The body language was brutal down these final stretches since the All-Star break, really.
Brutal all season, guys. Mike Budenholzer, in my eyes, was a zero this year. Could not have been worse for the Suns. A guy we all thought was going to come back, be one of us, be a Valley boy, and didn't show any care or emotion this entire year. I know he does care, but he didn't show it to any fans or make any connections. It rubbed a lot of people the wrong way behind the scenes. What I'm going to remember most is how the Suns wasted Kevin Durant and Devin Booker together. They need better players around those two and did not get it whatsoever. The only option moving forward now is to get rid of Bradley Beal. He will not be back next year. And Kevin Durant, you got to trade him to give some pieces and build around Book. It is just so sad to see how far this Suns team has fallen since that finals run. And this has all kind of happened under Matt Ishbia since he bought the team. He talks about winning a championship, and right now they couldn't be further away from it.